I'm flying like Superman. I thought it was a cool background. Welcome to Voices of Victory. Guess what? Got news for you. You don't have a boundary problem. This is not about your boundaries. Although we do have to look into identity. See, we are an identity based channel here on Voices of Victory. This channel, if we had to look at a wheel, the center of the wheel is identity. And all of these outer topics are spokes of that wheel. And we are going to be dealing with boundaries. It's boundaries. And guess what? Your identity is paying for your lack of boundaries. The boundaries that you don't have are impacting you. You are paying for it one way or another. So we want to look at the identity, who you are. All right. A lot of people miss this simple concept, this simple idea. There's people that say, oh, I just need to say no more. I just need to say stop. Here's the thing, boundaries are not always verbal. They're not always verbal. They're one part verbal, one part action. Okay. Most people will say, oh, I need better boundaries. I have to have better boundaries. That's very surface level thinking. It's nice. It's a nice to have, but there's more. Because if you really had a strong identity, you would realize that your boundaries are a practice. They are a practice at the end of the day. It's not a verbal thing. It is a verbal and action. It's what you say and what you do have to match. Congruous behavior. Because if you had a very strong identity, you wouldn't be negotiating your limits in the first place. That's what's important to know. You would need a reminder or some kind of verbal explanation or even the courage that someone crosses the boundary in order for you to tell them. Like, that's not the case at all. We're not saying that at all. So here's what is going on. Let's unpack that. Let's open that box. Let's do an unboxing of boundaries, shall we? Because this is what's really going on. So every time you actually say yes, when you say no, is an update to your identity. You're not just creating an inconvenience, you are impacting who you are. Literally, you are training yourself and reminding yourself to act against your standards and who you are. So, guess what? What happens? Your identity is based on what you repeat. You become what you absorb, you become what you repeat, and your identity is based on what you repeat. So, when you are talking about it, but it's not in your behavior, it's not in your actions, and it's not in your intentions, then you're really not living it. You're not living boundaries. It's just lip service, if you will. So your identity is based off of that very repeated behavior, not necessarily just old fashioned intentions. All right. So what happens? What goes down with this? Well, you start making choices, and those choices have no reflection on who you believe you actually are. So what do? Well, you prioritize other people's ideas and their expectations over your own limits. So you wind up betraying yourself. And that's where it really hurts. That's where it really hurts. It's really impacting you at that point. You betray yourself at that point. Now, I don't mean betray yourself like as if someone cheated on you, but you'll feel bad. You'll feel bad like, oh, I wish I would have done X. I should have done this. I should have done. We start doing that. I should have, should have, should have. I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have done that. We start saying that. And what happens at that point is your identity stops being who you believe you are. That's what happens. And it literally becomes an idea you're only entertaining and thinking about because what you say and what you do have to match. I want you to understand from this day forward, boundaries are a practice, both verbally and physically, verbally and action wise. And that's where your resentment will come in. You will resent yourself. Your boundaries come at the cost that if you don't execute, if you don't say and you don't act and you don't do those things, there's a cost. There's a cost of doing and there's a cost of not doing. And it will cost you resentment. That's the price you pay. You pay in the price. You paid the price tag of resentment and self-betrayal every time you don't follow what you say. Because your boundaries are just words and people will just try to inch their way past them. But actions is the practice of boundaries. It's not a finish line. It's not like you have to reach a finish line. It's a practice. It's a daily practice. So the solution isn't just better boundaries. That's not it at all. It's to understand that your boundaries are a daily practice. Okay. Your boundaries are based on who, what, where, when, and why. Literally, very simply put. It's about you connecting yourself, your identity, to those boundaries, to understand what they are, who they're for, why you're doing what you're doing. Okay, so when your identity is real solid, it becomes reinforced through your actions. So your boundaries have to contain actions. And when they do, that updates your identity and makes you stronger as a person. So boundaries are not something you just willy-nilly force. That's not it at all. They're something that are practiced. They don't just appear magically. It is a practice. Okay. So when you are clear on that, you take action. Because it's no longer it's no longer asking the question of, should I say no here? No, that's not it at all. Like, you can't do that. You should really write down like what your boundaries actually are and what those actions look like. That's what's important. It's like red flag list of what you say and red flag list of what you do, your actions. So you have to come from the place of boundaries are a practice. I'm going to harden them and strengthen them. This is who I am. And if something doesn't fit in that realm, it's a no-go zone. That's where it comes from. That's where your mind and your identity moves in a different direction. And that's where your self-respect actually starts. I'm Mario Leone. Welcome to the Voices of Victory. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Take care. See you soon. Thank you.